Welcome back to Tabletop Titans and another Titan Tactics. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 3 cheapest army lists you can make in competitive Arks of Omen. If you do find this video to be useful, hit that like and subscribe button down below and let us know that you enjoyed this content. With that, let's dive on in. So before we take a look at the lists themselves, let's talk about the parameters of our research and our searches. This is based off of 3 tournament placing lists that have done quite well, and we're also looking at data from Goonhammer, who does amazing work, so definitely go check them out. Of course, one of the main reasons we wanted to do this video today is because of the fact that Games Workshop just announced an approximately 6% increase on the cost of their plastic kits, and there's never been a better time to think about how to save money on your armies. These are, of course, taken from GW stock prices today. They will go up a bit in the near future, but keep in mind the proportions are going to be the same. With that having been said, there are a few ways you can save money if you're looking into it. With that, we are talking about US dollars today because that's what we know, but of course this does stand true for all different currencies. On top of that, we are going to be using combat patrols, we're going to be using battle force boxes, which we know are starting to sell out, so definitely keep an eye out on those, particularly for some of the ones we're going to be mentioning. In addition, we're also going to be taking a look at the tournament placing list and talking about what are some budget options to make that even cheaper, and really what is that price differential from tournament placing list to just the bare minimum. With that, let's take a look. Coming in at 3rd place, we have the Grey Knights. This is Adam Lane's GT winning list from the Bolton Wa. Super cool list, and this is kind of a weird case because while this is one of the cheapest armies you can run, this list actually doesn't really use any combat patrol boxes. It is just straight up buying the boxes individually. It's still relatively cheap. It's going to come in at $647 US, so altogether not too shabby. A few things to note: you're going to get a lot of value out of your troop boxes. These are going to build both your strike squads and your interceptors. There's lots of that, and those are very powerful in the game right now. Very strong. Your Tech Marine, you are also going to include the servitors that he does come with, so there's no waste there, which is something we're kind of keeping in mind as we look at this list. Of course, the most expensive elements are going to be the Dread Knights, but again, kind of a tournament staple, and you're going to get a lot of runtime out of them. Really, this list has it all. It's got lots of bodies, it's got movement, it's got shooting, it's got durability in the right places, and so it's really going to let you get the Grey Knights experience for the cheapest dollars possible. With that in mind, let's take a look at the budget version. This is basically saying, how cheap can we get a Grey Knights list? What is the cheapest version possible? This one's pretty simple. You basically just go out and you buy 3 combat patrol boxes. The combat patrols are basically always deals, but there's always the question of how interesting, how viable they are. This one gives you a lot of useful units for the dollars that you spend. So it's going to be 3 combat patrols and a single Dread Knight kit. With some upgrades, that's going to take you to 2,000 points on the nose, and it's going to be the fastest way to just get going and really get you a strong basis for your Grey Knights list. This one is clocking in at 515, so worth noting that it's not a huge differential between the cheapest version and literally the tournament winning version, so pretty interesting there. If you are considering becoming a tournament player, you might want to just splurge those extra few dollars to get the tournament winning stuff. The second cheapest tournament placing army is the Custodes, which will probably come as a shock to not many people. This is a very elite army. It's an army that has lots of plastic kits, but it also has a number of popular, powerful Forge World kits. So what does that mean? This list comes down to $624 for Alex Fowler's list from a recent GT. This is interesting because it does include 1 combat patrol, and you're going to get some interesting value from that. You're actually not going to build the Guardians as is from the box. You're instead going to get the Sagittarum upgrade kit from Forge World and use those base bodies, upgrade them to Sagittarum. So pretty interesting there. As we did mention, it does have Forge World, as you can see. That's going to drive the price up, but the army is elite enough, and these units are giving you enough value that it's actually going to keep it within a range that is actually cheaper than the fully plastic list that we just looked at for Grey Knights. So pretty interesting stuff there. Custodes, always going to be a consistent army to be able to save money on. They're pretty approachable as far as paint as well, so I think this is a great starter army, whether you're looking to play competitively or on a budget. Speaking of a budget, let's take a look. This budget version of the list is clocking in at $360, so big savings there, and actually quite simple. We're looking at just getting the Battle Force box, the Watchers of the Gate, as well as the Combat Patrol. That is going to be about 1,300 points for the big box, 700 points for the Combat Patrol, and that's 2,000 points right there. So big savings here if you're wanting to stay away from that Forge World resin and play what you get out of the boxes. So Custodes, Always great for budget armies. And here we are, clocking in at first place, we have the Imperial Knights. Now, while the sticker shock on an individual knight might be a bit scary at first, you actually do get quite a lot of bang for your buck. They are often lots of points, and so you're going to go very far with very few kits. This particular army has the distinction of having no difference between the tournament placing list and the budget list. Both are going to be $420 if you get the Chainbreaker boxes. Luis Humberto Casillas Franco's list, who placed recently at the Torneo de Guild Leon tournament, is literally just this box minus 2 armigers. So they're $210 each. You get 2 of them for $420. And interesting thing to note, if you buy all the kits separately to make the tournament list, it's going to clock in at $595. Now, this is a pretty big saving, but also still note, this is still below even the other 2 armies, even when you're paying full price for all the kits. Something to keep in mind, though, is the Chainbreaker box is cheaper, and it's going to give you 2 extra armigers. So if you can find this one, good on you, because it is selling out pretty much everywhere. But honestly, call around your local game stores. You'd be shocked how many times I can find something that everyone thinks is sold out, but it's just in a store and people didn't think to buy it or whatever. So definitely call up your local game stores, see what you can find. This build is really just out of the box. You have your armigers that you build as is, you have your Hellruins that you build as is, and this list, Luis's list, is going to leverage 2 Crusaders, but of course, highly recommend you magnetizing, especially your big knights. It's going to give you a lot of bang for your buck, and it's going to take you very, very far. This is just by far the winner. Very cheap build to build literally the best Imperial Knights armies in the game right now. So there you have it. Grey Knights coming in third, Custodes in second, and Imperial Knights in first as far as cheapest armies for Arks of Omen competitive play. Of course, this is based around looking at tournament winning lists and tournament placing lists. So if you are willing to be a bit more casual with it, there's even more savings to be had. Let us know in the comments below if you guys can find anything that saves you even more money and what other kind of budget options you'd like to see in the future. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch y'all next time on the tabletop. Bye.